Good afternoon, my Instagrammers. I'll wait until a couple people jump on. And then we're going to talk to Onida Cruz from Petite Seats. I'm pretty excited about talking to her. There's quite a few questions I want to ask her from her experiences that she has had last year while I was following her. And I don't know her personally, but I've been following her for a while. Very educated, always giving out great content. So you guys are going to be in for a treat on this one. And I'm going to wait until she jumps on to ask her a couple of questions because, as you know, my name is Wanda Ramos, and if you don't know, I am the owner of Simply Creative 2 Party Rentals. Actually, it's called Simply Creative 2. It's Simply Creative 2 Party Rentals on the IG. But I've been in business for a long time, and I just started this Let's Get to Know One Another so that I can reach out. And this is the perfect time because really we're stuck at home. But I can reach out to my vendors and my clients so that we can get to know each other a little bit more, or my followers, because there are a lot of followers that I do follow. They're in the business, but I really don't know too much about them. And also it's a great networking thing. So I'm going to wait until she pops on. Hopefully she'll be on in a few minutes. She has had a lot of experiences with going out of the country, going to China actually. I'm talking about that now with the circumstances that we're going through, but I just still wanted to know the experience that she had with that. And, if anybody has questions towards the end of this interview, please let me know. Unfortunately, I had an interview with Katrina's Creation the other day. It was Saturday, and I erased the interview. I was very upset that I did erase it. So hopefully I don't do that this time, because what I want to do is I want to continue to take these lives and put it on a different platform, and so that you guys can continue to see it if you did miss it or if you wanted to share it with somebody. So Onida Cruz is on. Now let's go. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay. She should be on in a few. So let's get to know one another. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I am great. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Same here. Thanks
Even
for
though
inviting me.
Yeah, even though I watch you a lot, I watch you as much as I can when I can, if I'm not really very busy, but I try to catch you at night. You give great content, and I'm so happy that you said yes to our live.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah,
I
I had to leave my house because the internet at home is just really, really spotty.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I usually see you in your car when you're doing your. I was like, oh no, she's not working, is she?
No, I'm not working. I'm just parked in the parking lot of Target.
Oh, okay. Where you could get more signal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I understand. You're out in New Jersey, right? That's correct?
Yes, I'm in Sussex County, so way west.
Oh, wow. So then you're down that way.
Yeah.
All right. So, your Petite Seat company, it's I every time I see those the cutest little chairs and the setups, they are so adorable.
Thank
How
you.
how did you come up with your name, one, and the concept?
So I was an event planner for about 6 years prior to starting this Petite Seats. And I had planned a lot of like over the top kids parties. And we always did the complete setup with like adult chairs. So I was like, this is just, it's not working. It's not cute. And then when I was looking for kid-sized chairs, they were always those primary color plastic chairs that were just
Yeah.
they're not cute. And then somebody had like folding chairs, but I said, you know what, there has to be somebody that sells and manufactures Travari chairs for kids. And I found a company out in Long Island that did it, but they didn't ship or deliver. So and of course I asked them where they get them from. They were not trying to, give that information. So I found a company in Texas. They were called the Chairville, and they manufactured metal, like adult sized Travari chairs, and they actually had a kids chair. So that is how I started. I ordered with them. I think I spent like $1,500, ordered 30 chairs, and just went for broke from there. And as far as like the company name, I was just like thinking about all different types of things that would be catchy. And there's a company in Atlanta that I followed. Her name, the company name is Sweet Seats. And I'm like, well, let's just make it Petite Seats and keep it moving.
Wow, that's really nice. I mean, it's perfect for, everything that like the name is so perfect for your product and your designs and your decorations. And I see that you also travel out of Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, out of New Jersey. I see that you go to Pennsylvania, you come to New York. How far in do you, how far do you travel?
So, first of all, I'm very, very deep in New Jersey. So, people think New Jersey is off of the Parkway, right?
Right.
But for me, I'm way closer to the Delaware Water Gap. So I try to stay within 200 miles of my house. Like I'll go as far as 200 miles out. So I'll go to Philly. I'll go to way east in Long Island. I've gone to Montauk, which is as far east as you can go on Long Island. I've gone, like I said, as far as south, I won't go past Philly unless I'm going like home to Baltimore and Maryland. I'll do an event there once in a while, but within a 200-mile radius.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty far. I mean, well, for me, because my rental company is based out of Astoria, New York. Even though a lot of people want me to go to New Jersey, like I get a lot of Jersey calls, and what I do is I just, I refer them to the vendors that I know, or sometimes to vendors that I follow, or I build a relationship, or, just to follow them. And then I'll refer them to there. But, just New Jersey reminds me a lot of like Florida for me. I mean, or Long Island, where, you can be in one town and 5 seconds later you'll be in another town. But for me, it's a little harder to go out because we have like we'll have so many event rentals out there, like they booked us. And then to get from New Jersey back to where we're supposed to pick up, which you can wait, it's harder for us. So I really don't do too much, like going out of my certain area, because it's just, I mean, I tried it. I'm not going to say I haven't, but I tried it. It just doesn't work for me because, what happens is, for me, if I get there late, to pick up something, a lot of venues don't want you to leave stuff in there. Or, if you're stuck in traffic, or if it's just too far from one drop off to the other, then you wind up people talking about, they start talking about how bad the service was as far as that's concerned.
I work in Manhattan for my job, so I am in the city 5 days a week. So I try to do my deliveries around my work schedule of 8 to 3. And then like Saturday and Sunday, I'm in the city all day. Like most of my business is Manhattan.
Manhattan, yeah. I see that you have a lot of Manhattan, because I've seen when you. I saw one time you were going all the way up the stairs and going down, like. And you do this by yourself sometimes, right?
All the time.
All the time.
I've been looking for I can't even say I'm looking for a driver, because I start and then I stop. But it's been. I have to learn. That's a part of this year, learning in business. I have to learn how to let go and not manage.
Oh, we lost you. Hopefully you come back on. All right, guys. Hopefully she'll come back on. This is the bad part that I'm getting. This happens, and then Let's see if she'll come back and drop back in, because the last time what I did was I disconnected and came back, and then I lost a lot of you guys doing that. So hopefully she'll jump back on and we'll continue our conversation. But stay tuned, because she's going to give you a lot of details on, you know, what she does to make things work. And as you see, there are still things that even though she's been in business for a while, she still has trouble letting go. All right, guys. How you doing? Triple J in the house. All right, let's see if she'll jump back on and she'll figure it out. Let's see. How's everything? How's everybody doing? All right, hold on just a sec. All right. So, don't know. I wonder, can you invite somebody on here? I'm not even sure. Now, I just started doing these things, so I'm learning by trial and error, and it's fine because this is the learning experience. I don't know too much about this live as far as jumping on and then having somebody freeze like she did, and then coming back. So this is all learning experiences, right? So let me see something. Hold on a minute. Let me see about, okay, let's see. I just requested her. I just saw something down here. So this is something new to me. Hopefully she'll jump back on. Yes.
Sorry. So my phone just overheated. It's time for a new cell phone. I've been trying to hold on to it, but every day is something new. I'm like, what is going on now? So I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm learning how to do this live stuff. So as we go, which is fine, because that's how you learn, right? As we go, I'm trying to figure out the little buttons on the bottom, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me request her back, because the last time that I did that, I was with Chris from Evolution, yeah. And what I did was I stopped it, and then I waited for him to come back on, right? And once I did that, I lost like half my audience, and I was so annoyed with that. I was like, oh, why? Yeah. And he jumped back on, and I winded up saving it, so I'm gonna see if I get like snippets from it and then put it back on. But I was like, I'm trying to figure this whole thing out as well. So it's fine. So all right. So you said that you made the kids parties. You were doing adult parties, and then you just went straight into the kids parties, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then you're mostly in Manhattan with your events.
Exactly.
For me, I hate going into Manhattan. I mean, I may sound, it's just, the tickets that you can get. There's no parking, and then that takes away from your from your revenue. Also, because we went into the city one time to drop off, and there's just no parking anytime, and I had somebody in the car, and the ticket just came, and she didn't care.
It's a system. You really, just like driving in Manhattan, you really have to learn. Like, it's a whole different system. Like learning the subways, you have to know what, where to do little tricks. Like what I do is I don't have a commercial plate on my van, and I will leave the back door open,
right?
So they can't see the plate, and then I'll take some chairs and put them in the street. So it's like, okay, they know I'm unloading.
Right.
Learn little tricks, but sometimes they just don't even care. They're just they're gonna give it to you. Gonna give you a ticket.
They can be so cruel, those guys.
Yeah. They are.
So, Onida, I saw that you went to China, and that's one of the things that I said, you know what, I really need to dig into this with her, because my husband, he's the type that's a worrywart, he's the type, and he doesn't eat a lot of, he's a very plain Jane. Oh, well, not Jane, Jim. He doesn't eat, like regular food like everybody else. He doesn't like condiments. He's allergic to certain things. So for us to travel, usually I'll tell him, because I would love to travel the world.
Yeah.
But then I tell him, look, I would really like to go here. And then he's always telling me something negative about going, what am I gonna eat when I get over there? Because that's all he thinks about is the food.
Yeah.
So I've always told him, I would love to go to China, And when I saw that you went, I was like, wow, this is so neat. It's such a, and then I'm like saying to myself, well, I'm going to ask her, how was the experience going there?
Yeah. So first of all, I was supposed to be in China this week. Like I went in October, and it was like such a great experience. I was going to take my family for spring break. Of course, this coronavirus, it didn't happen.
Right.
Just like, because I'm African American, going to Africa was like my biggest trip that I always wanted to do. Went into business, and then I'm like, all right, let's transfer that and move that to a back burner, and let's go to China, because everything is made in China. And I see myself going to China multiple times before I go even make the trip to Africa, because it was a dynamic experience. And I went solo, and that in of itself made me have to do things in a different way. Like, for instance, I had to learn how not to get gypped by the friggin' taxi drivers. I had to learn how to use my Google to do the translation as I'm walking the streets. It was a good experience. I feel like if I would have gone with a group or with others, I would not have been as free to explore as I was. I hired a videographer, and for the second 3 days that I was there, she helped a lot with like the navigation, and just the speaking and things like that. And I didn't eat, as far as food is concerned, I didn't eat in the street. I was like, hell no.
I saw that.
I ate in a hotel, and I ate enough so that I was good for the day until I came back to the hotel. But it was great. Like, it's the kind of place. And then I was in South China, where the weather was like Florida. It was very warm. And in Guangzhou, it's a major city. It's 20 million people. It's just like New York City. It's huge. And you have all of the amenities that you would have in the east, and where we are. So it was still like being at home. The malls, the restaurants, everything else was the same. The only difference was, of course, the language barrier. So once I got used to using my Google device to do the translation, it was fun. I walked around a lot by myself. I felt safe, except for that time that I got kicked out the taxi.
Right.
So it was just a thing to do, a lot of people ask me, like, why would I do that by myself? But literally, I decided to go 2 weeks before I booked, and I'm just like, I'm just going to put this money, just go. I reached out to one of my girlfriends who's a travel agent, and she set it up, and it was just like, just do it.
Yeah. Now, do you think that that's the best way to go? Like if you're going to do, if you're going to do a trip like that? I mean, obviously, you always would like to go with a group. I think it's a little, no, let me not say that, because like you said, when you go with a group, it kind of like holds you back from doing the things that you really want to do.
Yeah.
It's true, because it's like going on a family vacation, like you have certain people, certain people in your family that want to do one thing, and then you have certain people, and then everybody gets their like rental cars, and then everybody's all over the place, and it's not really family time.
Exactly.
So, I can understand that, but would you, like suggest, reaching out to a travel agent? And
so, first of all, because of the distance, and because I don't know hotels there or anything like that, I went through my travel agent. Her name is Katana, and when you say somebody that travels the world, she travels the friggin' world. So right. I knew that she knew. First of all, I wasn't going to stay there. There were hotels that were very cheap. I wasn't going to leave the comforts of the States to go to a cheaper hotel that just didn't have the amenities I needed. So I told her, she asked me what was my budget, and I told her straight up, I need luxury, but on a dime. Because, when you convert the money, it's much cheaper, but you're paying US to get there. So I said, I need a space that they have the spa, they have the pool, they have everything, but still I'm not breaking the bank. So she was able to give me like tiers. She gave me 3 different options of places to stay. Like, if I did that myself, I wouldn't have known any of that,
Not only that, but I'm sorry, but
she knows. Yeah, go ahead.
No, not only that, but then you would waste more time, and time is money as well too, doing that research.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to help me with the visa process. because that's a whole nother stressor as you're traveling, because you need a visa to go into China. So all of that stuff she was able to assist me with, and then give me, because I was busy as hell, so she was always checking in. Did you do this? Did you do that? So that was a plus to using a travel agent versus doing it myself. I never think.
Well, I think that's I would think that would be the right way to do it. What the first few times, maybe, or not even a few times, but yeah, I would think maybe 1 or 2 times, and then after that, you're pretty much experienced on where things are, who to contact, what to do, and things like that. And the video person was from over there.
Yeah, so I'm a hashtag queen. So even when I'm shopping, I would look at a hashtag on Instagram to see if I'm looking for something. So I looked up Guangzhou videographer, and it was one of 3 people, and I reached out to all of them, and her vibe was just amazing. So she's a Russian native, and she's been in China for 6 or 7 years, her and her husband, and we just vibed. Like, it was really, really cool. And because I was going by myself, I needed somebody that I connected with ahead of time. And she got what I was trying to do, and then she just was so helpful. Like, she offered so much more than just the videography. So that's how I found her.
I know, I saw and did a great job, with it too. So that's very important, because I think you did it excellent, because you went there and you got somebody to record everything.
Yeah.
Just the experience itself gave everybody, we're here and we could see everything that's going on over there, and that's such a cool thing. That was great to think of. I mean, you've been in business for, you said, how long?
This is 6 years with Petite Seats.
Okay, 6, and then prior to that?
So 2008 is when I started my last business. So it's been a lot, a long time.
And what do you do? What do you do as far as your job is concerned?
Oh, I'm a teacher. I'm a math teacher for New York City. Yeah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you were in financials.
No. Well, I'm a math teacher, so in that way, that's
but not a teacher. But I mean, now it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Why you're so detailed, when and organized.
Yeah.
A lot like with me, I always refer to myself, because in this let's get to know each other, I want people also to know a little bit about myself too.
Yes.
But I'm messy. I'm not. I'm not organized, and that's something I have to really work on, because in this business, I think, or in any business, you really have to be organized, especially with your finances, and that's something that I struggle with. And I've been in business on and off with different types of businesses over 30 years, and I still struggle with this. And I'm like, Wanda, you really have to stop and stop doing your bad habits, your old habits, and just try to break those habits. So so that made sense now that you're telling me that you're
but you know what, I use all of the messed up mistakes that I made with my event planning business, because I spent a lot of money just doing the wrong thing. So when I started Petite Seats, I'm like, okay, I have a whole list of stuff of not to do. I did research that I didn't do before, because when I was event planning, it was just like go with the flow, not really learning business at all. So I took that time, because I was actually on maternity leave when I started the beginning stages of Petite Seats, and I took that time to just learn everything I can about business and financing, about rentals, and it made such a huge impact on the front end of my business, because it looked like everything was together, because I spent that time to do all of the organizational stuff that I did not do with the event planning.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because if you don't do that front end, the back end is not going to come out. It's the same thing as what you eat, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I mean, that's something that I really have to work on, and I know a lot of people, especially now with what's happening, that if you are looking for, say, a loan or some type of help or relief with this situation, you have to have your financial statements on point, because that's the first thing they're going to ask you for.
You have to.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because in the beginning, I applied for a business loan because I'm like, okay, I want to just buy all the inventory I can buy, and I didn't want to use my personal finances like I did with the event planning. And that was the first thing the bank told me, is like, first of all, you don't have any collateral, because I wasn't going to use my house.
right.
And you don't, where are your records? I'm like, records of what? So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now, like I said, now more than ever, I think that's one of the lessons that people that are in this business will take and hopefully change, or start changing it as soon as possible now, even though a lot of us are not getting any revenue. And, even though I got 2 phone calls that they wanted chairs for Saturday, they're still doing parties. These people are crazy. Well, let me not say crazy, because they may be listening to me. But, not taking, I believe some people still not taking this as serious, or, really putting their family in jeopardy, or, having these house parties.
Yeah.
So, I was surprised with the phone calls, but my husband's like, no, you're not doing this.
I just had that conversation today because tomorrow Passover starts, and so I've gotten a lot of inquiries for people wanting to rent for the week, because I think Passover's from the 7th through the 17th. And so I'm like, okay, so I can just drop it off at the door. I don't have to engage with them. He's like, they have checkpoints going into the city. Are you crazy? So he was like, stop.
Yeah, I know that. My husband said the same thing. He goes, it simply never stops with you. He's like, simply creative never stops with you. I guess it's just out of habit, and also that you want to help. I think it's more that you want to help the person, because when they come and they say, oh, well, nobody's doing this for me, and obviously for the reasons that we're all staying home, but at the same time, like in the back of, well, like with me, I want to help them out. It's not so much, making the money. It's just trying to help them out. But then at the same time, you got to think, what's best in the best interest of what's going on in this situation, which is you can actually, go out and not only get fines, but because if something happens in one of those parties, and then they do the investigations, you can be liable if something happens, because you're conducting business.
And I wasn't even thinking about that, but
she froze again. All right, guys, I will have her back on. Let's just see. I am not going to come off, because it was a good idea that I did not do that. So sorry. Internet problems. Let's see. Where are you? Maybe she'll come back on. I'm sorry, hon. Yeah. Be patient with me. She's trying to come back. It says unable to join, but oh, here she goes. Sorry about that, guys. Internet problems. But it's good coming back on, because I'm enjoying this conversation.
So, all right. Hi. Again, another overheat. I feel like my phone is, how every time they get a new Sprint, a new version of your phone, the one you have just goes crazy.
Yeah, it's true. They do that, and then you don't get enough service, and they make you end up buying an upgrade, which is crazy, because now the upgrades are that's so much money.
It's true. I'm not trying to spend $1,000 for a phone right now.
And especially now too, because you don't know what the future holds. You got to hold all your income. Everything that you have in savings, anything that comes in, you really have to think, okay, is it a phone or is it my food?
It's true.
But you work from your house, right?
I work from home, yes. So my husband like retrofitted the garage to make shelves for all of the chairs. Now I just ordered a lot of new inventory, so I will be moving out of the house because there's just no space
Right.
once all of these new things come in. And so that's what I'm doing now, is just looking for inexpensive storage or warehouse space, because it's not a storage unit that I want, it's like the warehouse space. And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm looking for now.
Yeah, I was in when we first well, like I said, I've been in the business for a long time, but when the crisis happened in 2008 to 2009, I winded up losing that business, which was a party store. I had a party store.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I would go out and decorate and do the balloons. I mean, I've been doing balloons like for forever. At one point, I just stopped doing balloons because they were not popular, and now all of a sudden,
Look
boom,
at that.
the
Yeah.
balloons come, and then you don't need the helium. Back then, you did
Yes.
need the helium, and then now the helium's so expensive. So, blowing up balloons with air is, is fantastic. But when I started off with one chair, winded up getting after that, going into a storage, closing up my shop, taking everything, put it in storage, sold what I wasn't gonna use.
Yeah.
And then from that one chair, it actually was the Baxton Studio chair, I remember. From that one bench, that's where it all began. And then I went from one storage 5x5 to four 10x20s. So
Wow.
yeah, and it was in a short amount of time, because that's when the business started like really uh, transferring. Like it wasn't the same thing as the regular party business. Now the started being more elaborate with the parties.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you were back in the day and you saw the wicker chair, and now you have the now you have these
It's
throne chairs.
grown.
So,
Yeah.
but I did go from that to, and then you're absolutely correct. I would advise, do not go into a storage place because it's so unprofessional. Even though at the time that's what was feasible for me, what I could afford,
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I really sat down and said to myself, listen, I can't keep going in through these, 4x20s and then looking for stuff, and 10 by
Exactly.
10 by 20s and looking for things. And then you have your clients outside, and it just wasn't a good look. So I winded up getting the warehouse. So I think, the warehouse just gives you more of a professional, and also you can put everything to where you need to put it, even though if you go into my
Exactly.
warehouse, I still have a mess, but I know where everything is.
Right.
But I can see the stuff, so that's good.
Exactly.
But then now you're gonna have an overhead.
I put it off for 6 years, so I figured at this point I can handle it. Business has been at a steady flow that even with this interruption, I'm still able to manage, and I'm thankful for that, because on top of having my job, this whole pandemic has not interrupted finances to a point where I'm worried.
Thank God. Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also too, when we all get out of this, there's going to be I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of work, or if it's going to just gradually go to work, because there's some people like you that have jobs and still
Yeah.
have their incomes coming in. And then there's a lot of people like me that it totally stopped.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to think about that. What do you think about that?
For me, it's been quality time with my family, and I try not to think about the finances because I have student loan debt up the ass, but thankfully that's been paused. So my whole thing was, okay, I'm diverting a lot of, when I pay myself with the business, I'm using that for these student loans and things like that. So I thought that that's a reprieve, but then I spent 5 figures on new inventory, so it's just like this could not have happened at a worse time.
What time? Yeah.
Because not only did I spend the money, but it's coming in from China, and I don't know if it's going to get through customs.
Right.
So I was panicking about that, and then I'm like, Onida, you can't change, you can't worry about the stuff you can't change. So don't even stress it. And I have like uninterrupted time with my family because I'm always up and down the highway. I don't see them. So I've spent like so much time just learning them again because, you know, kids every day, they
Right.
grow into something new. So it's just learning their habits all over again. It's cooking too damn much. It's
That's what I said, man. I gotta come out of this house
like,
like
you
roly
hungry
poly.
again? Right? You know, I just left the house and they're like, hold on, what's happening? You know, like,
Yeah.
pause. My son asks, he's 4. He's like, are you going to New York City? I said, no, I'm just going down the street. Relax.
Yeah.
So you realize how much they miss you and how much your presence is just, you know, they love it. So for me, I'm taking this time to just breathe and be still and then work on all the things that I keep saying I needed an assistant to do.
Right.
So I've gotten to do that, and
Oh,
that's been good.
yeah, yeah. I think that's you know, the way you say it too, and I want our viewers to really, you know, listen to what you're saying. It took you 6 years to want to do this leap into a warehouse.
Yeah.
It wasn't a year. It just took baby steps. And a lot of people think, okay, and I really, I hate to say it, but when some people say, oh, well, you know, I opened a venue and 6 months I'm in and I'm making money. I mean, for me, I'm like, there's no way in hell that you're making money in six. You're
But you
either
know what? People are
bootstrapping,
selling that.
you
People
know.
are selling that.
Yeah, but you know, that's the problem though, because then other people that I want to do the same business,
Yeah.
they hear this and they feel, okay, this person did that, not telling you the truth on how or where did they get this you know, this money to do this, because you have to have a lot of money, and then to get you know, to get back what you put in, you know, in 6 months, then
Yeah.
people get the false, you know, sense of, oh, I can go do this. They go and they take out, you know, either a loan or they take out their savings, and some people even quit their jobs, which I really don't, you know,
Yeah.
I don't
I've heard so much of that. I've
yeah,
heard so much of that. And
I
that's scary.
mm-hmm.
Like, as far, you know, people always talk about securing the bag and all this other stuff. But it's just like, from my personal career, like my career has taken a dive because of my business. Now, that's because there are people that I work with that have seen the success of my business and have tried to sabotage it. But that's like neither here nor there because I still have a job. But I would never quit my job, especially because I'm on a school schedule at 8 to 3.
Oh yeah.
You know, because I've made a certain amount of money in business, because I can do both. And as long as you can do both, that's truly
Yeah, not only that,
bag. Why not?
yeah, not only that, but you have a job that I'm assuming it's union. Is it a union job?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
and
pension.
like my husband, he's a union man, and all he does is always tell my kids, listen, you gotta, if you're gonna get a job, get a union job. At least it's gonna give you something back in the future, and you got to think about those things too, because yeah, okay, you want to own your own business, but when you own your own business, people don't realize you don't have health care, you don't have a steady income, you don't have, you know, yeah, like with you, at least you're in the union, you have that protection. Okay, so there's a lot of factors that you, and then not only that, but you have to think about your future, and you're in the school system. So that's fantastic because when they're off, you're off.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And
yeah.
it's just your mindset on money. Like my husband is the money person in our relationship. So he's the one that budgets. He's the one who says, here, I don't ask you how much you make, but this is how much I need from you. And he'll save it, because
Right.
I will have $1,000 in my account today, and tomorrow the shit is gone and I can't even tell you how I spent it. So
Right.
that is why I work so hard, is because I know how I am with money. So I would never say, okay, I'm going to cut off a stream of income because I can. You know, that to me doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And people have to think about those things, you know, because I hear it all the time. I had a conversation not too long ago with a vendor, and she was telling me how much money she had placed in the business, and that she had a decent job, and she actually quit the job, and now she's kicking herself because of the competition, and
Wow.
maybe I don't know how she's marketing herself, and just, I think a lot of people also focus on other people, what other people are doing, which I believe that you shouldn't really put too much
You
mind.
can't. Look
Yeah.
at this is how I always tell people. I'm my own competition. Now, I started in 2014. You didn't see any kids party chairs at all.
Right.
Unless you were looking in Australia, right?
Right.
On the New York, New Jersey side, you didn't see any. I worked my ass off for, I would say, a good 4 years after that to about 2 years ago. And then I said, okay, let me relax a little bit because I've positioned myself in the market. Right now, you can go on Instagram, hashtag kids parties, New York, and you'll get 30 companies.
Right.
I don't pay. This is what I do. On my personal page, on my business page, I probably follow 300 people, and none of them are my competition. Most of the people that I follow are manufacturers. They are like event planners. They are mom influencers, because that's my client. Like, I'm not looking for competition. I'm looking for clients.
Right.
So that is how I look at it. And then when you spend time looking at other people, you cut off a part of your brain that's working on like getting more or going further, because you're so worried about what they're doing. I don't have time for that. My day is extremely jam-packed with shit. So if I'm spending an hour a day looking at somebody else, what they're doing, it cuts off that part of me that's still being hungry to go get more.
Not only that, but you're spending an hour less on what you should be doing for your business.
Yeah.
Because you're so focused on everybody else's stuff. Yeah. It's like I go on Instagram, but really, to be honest with you, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, too, because I have followers, and then I do follow some people, and then, like I would get, I've been in that position where I get caught into just keep on looking at other people's things, and then not realizing the whole day has gone by, and I just wasted 5 hours where I could have wasted 5 hours doing something positive on my end. Right? Not only that, but like you said, earlier, people trying to sabotage your business, or not even probably doing it purposely, but just being in the same, community, and, them just, looking at every single thing you do and then doing the same thing, every single thing. It gets annoying at the same, but at the same time, you got to think about it. Coca-Cola did it with Pepsi and all the guys. So you just got to do things differently. You just got to be yourself, and
you have to be a resource. Like, when you see people doing what you do, that means you've been a resource. So when I discover a new company that has kids chairs, I always reach out. I don't care where they are, as long as they're in the United States. I always drop in their DMs, and I always, have a conversation with them. And 9 times out of 10, they're surprised as shit. They're like, "Oh my God, I follow you," blah blah blah. And for me, it's about learning what other people are doing, because there was a woman in St. Louis who reached out to me, and she said she found a client who was like this big football player, and he wanted her to purchase chairs for the event, but he was not paying. And it was just like, I wanted to reach out to you so badly, but I was afraid. No. So what are you going to do? Are you going to spend that $2,000
exactly
for a party, and you may not even rent those chairs again, or what? So we had a conversation about that. So I always want to see, I want to be a resource for people, because I don't want people spend, so like you said, they get a warehouse and fill it up with shit and then can't rent it. So as part of being a business is also being being in business is being a leader and being somebody that people can use as a resource, because everybody needs help. Like, all the time I'm looking at other people for assistance. So it's good to make those connections.
Yeah, and you also have to, I guess you also have to do your research as far as, by you doing that, what are you going to get back in return? It's not going to be, as if you're renting it, but you're getting at least some type of income coming in as well. You have
Yeah,
something, some type of revenue coming in, and you're also helping out that person. So
yeah,
it's good, because if you're not doing good this week in your business, say at the warehouse, at least you have
yeah.
some revenue coming in with the people that you're working with, right?
Exactly, exactly. And there are events where I may have 20 chairs and I know somebody that has 15, has the same chair, and I could just stop by and pick it up. Like, I would not be able to do that if I saw everybody as competition. Like,
Right.
I would not have that list of people that have certain chairs. Like,
Exactly.
I had an event in Baltimore, and there's an amazing company in Maryland, the DMV, that she has so many beautiful chairs. And I'm like, you know what? I looked to order the stuff in China, and I said, for what? Like, she has them. Let me just sublet from her. And that's that. And that's what I did. And I do the same thing in New York
Hmm.
when I need more chairs,
Right.
because it doesn't make sense for me to buy 5 additional chairs for one
Right.
day.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely correct. And I think, like that's what my previous lives were, with coordinating with people and collaborating. I think that's just another extension of the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I see that you have an ebook. What made you do that?
For
And
that same
I
reason.
really,
If you saw,
I have to purchase. I have to purchase
oh,
it.
yes, you have
I
to.
definitely have to purchase it because I need help too.
So I am, in addition to being a math teacher, I read a lot. I read at least 5 books a week, and I write. I've always had a blog. I've always been a teacher. So a large part of what I do is teaching, right? And it's very hard to turn that off as a business person.
Right.
So I get a lot of DMs from people who are asking me, how do I do blah, blah, blah. And so what I did is I said, okay, I'm going to take all of the DMs that I've received, and I'm going to put the answers in a book form. And initially I was thinking, like, how am I going to do this so that it's easy for me? I don't have to like publish, a physical copy or whatever. So
Right.
basically my sister was telling me about Canva. I wrote the whole thing in Canva. It took me about a month. And I just self-published, because on my website I can just do digital. I have a digital a digital marketing place. So I
Mhm.
uploaded it, and it's just good, and it goes. But the reason was because I got so many requests for how do I do this, and
Mhm.
so I put it all in one space.
That's fantastic. I definitely have to purchase that, and I definitely will be, promoting it for you as well.
Thank you.
Because it's always good to get, because sometimes we think we know it all, and I'm a person that I don't like to read. I'm just
Yeah.
I do audio, the audio
Yes.
books. I do
Yes.
those. I like those. Only because I don't like to read. But it's so funny because now, maybe it's because I didn't have time to read,
Yeah.
or I didn't make the time, because if you want to do something, you make the time, no matter how much you'll sleep a little less, but then you'll be able to do it.
That's
But
me.
now with this quarantine, I've been reading so much, but like anybody will say, and it's so cliche, reading is knowledge. You get knowledge, when
Yeah.
you read, and the more you read, the more knowledge you get. No matter, that's something that nobody can take away from you. You know what I'm saying? Because people are like, I don't know this, but you know what? In this day and age, you can ask certain things to somebody, but really, if you do the research, it's out there. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have the computer to look in
Right.
on Google, or how do you spell this, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
We didn't have that. So in this era, I think that that's such a big advantage that we have.
It's true. It's true. And like, it's always, for me, it's always about what's your impact. What's your impact gonna do? So I go back and forth with creating, like, on my Instagram page, keeping it just about rentals, and then splitting, like doing the business coaching and things like that. So it's like a fine line. Like, I'm starting to do less of the business coaching stuff on the petite seats, because my clients don't want to see that, but
Yeah.
there are still people who look for me for business advice. So I've been going back and forth with how to convey that stuff. So that's why the book was just like, okay, it's all in one place, go for it.
Yeah, that's like with me. I think also too, like with me, my thing is, I've been in this business so long that I can teach. So that's what I started to do. And I was afraid to do it. I always said I wanted to do it, but I was not, well, I didn't make time, like I said, or, you know, a lot of us say we're going to do and we just don't do, you know, it's a lot of BS. And the only thing that you can do to make things, you know, work is to do. Right. So then I winded up doing my balloon class and I was scared and I was like, you know, like, how am I going to do this? I've never done this before. And you know what? I just went in and I just announced it and I did it. And I was like, wow, now that hurdle is, you know, I went over that hurdle. So now what's the next thing? So I learned by trial and error, everybody does the same thing. But now you can bring in revenue doing what your knowledge, what you put in.
Listen,
those 6
it's a powerful thing, because especially during this time of quarantine and to the point before, is you have to have multiple streams of income, because when one thing gets cut off, like, you don't want to be floundering.
Right.
So, yeah, you know, so having that digital platform where people can download products and I don't have to do anything. I mean, it was a no-brainer.
It just makes sense, you know, like we had Katrina the other day on Saturday. She said that she had her cake pop class in Facebook. So, you know, now so once you do something like that, not only, you know, once you prepare that and it's out there, now you don't have to worry about it. And once in a while you'll get somebody to purchase your stuff. So that's another form of revenue coming in. So like you said, you have to have at least, well, they say when you're going to become a millionaire, you have to have at least 7 of them, right? That's successful. That's what they say.
That's what they say, yes.
It's true. But, you know, it for me, I'm like, wow, when things are not, when things are slow at the warehouse, now I have, you know, I have a teaching class. So that helps me out, you know, and not only that, this is what I'm looking forward to once I retire doing my rentals. I want to continue because of my age, okay? And the things that the things that I already done, and sometimes once, like I've been saying that I want to retire, but I know I'm not going to retire completely. But once you've done something for such a long period of time, you know, you stop loving what you do, you know. But
unless you got to spice it up a little bit.
Or go another route in the same. You know, in the same business, but you go to a different avenue.
Well, you know what? I think a lot of people, they start business without thinking about the back end. They don't think about the exit strategy. And I always think about the exit strategy. Always. Even with my career. I'm like, okay, when is this date? And so for me, it's all, and that's part of me being that organized planning person. It's like, yes, petite seats is what it is, but I'm trying to grow it to a point where I can sell this shit and that'll be that. You know, then I'll start something else.
Exactly.
Because it's a lot with rentals, and I'm sure you know, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's not so simple, you know. So it's like, it's not sustainable to be doing for 40 years by yourself. So it's how can I slowly interweave other things so that when it's time for me to walk away, I've established enough.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I listened to one of the mentors, and they said, you know, like when you build a business, it's like you said, your exit. It's supposed to be for an exit. You have to have that exit strategy where, you know, you build it up to sell, and that's what a real business is about. You know, if you come to think about it, you know, you build it up to where you can sell it, and then you move on to your next venture. You know. Yeah, and that's the same thing that I'm thinking too. I'm like, eventually, you know, before all this happened, I told my husband, you know, I have enough inventory, I have enough clients, I have all that stuff, I have all this knowledge, and I can sell this to someone, you know, down the road, and I'll be happy to do so. And I mean, I've spoken to quite a few people, and they're, oh, when you're ready to sell, let me know. Nothing happened, so it's gonna probably set me back a little bit, but maybe not. I'm gonna be optimistic about it. But you know, I have that as far as, yes, now I can actually sell my business if I wanted to. Now I have to make sure that my financials are correct. I have to
Yes.
make sure that I know all the answers to the questions that they're going
And
to ask me.
systems.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then you have that exit strategy, like you said. And that's what I told my husband. I says that because my plans are to go to Florida because that's where we have our home. We have our
Yes.
youth home over there, which I wish I had it here because here I have such a
And you
small.
didn't go to Florida during this quarantine?
No, 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 no. What happened was, I have kids, and if one can't go, I was like, you know what, I can't leave.
Yeah.
God forbid something happened, and that happened to that one that I left. It's like you're the little
I
chickadees.
get it.
Even though they're older. My
Yeah.
daughter's 40 today,
Wow.
and yeah, so I didn't leave, and not only that, but then having come, like this is the epicenter of the whole thing,
Yes.
having New York plates, I was a little worried about that as well.
No, that's true. That's
Traveling,
true.
traveling through the states, that was another thing of, that came up to us. And then I had just had surgery 3 weeks ago, so I really
Oh,
couldn't
wow.
go anywhere. Yeah, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and yeah, and I just had my reconstruction surgery, and I couldn't go anywhere. So it
Wow.
came. It's funny because this thing came like on the right time, but at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that's why we didn't leave. But I really wish we had that house here because I could have put everybody in there and not worry about anybody getting on top of anybody's nerves, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't go. But my thing is that's where I want to go. But when I get there, I don't think I want to bring that business. I would love to, I would love to sell, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I saw somebody had a question
Yeah, we're
before.
going to go through the questions now, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to let you go because I know we've been talking for a while, and I will
I'm
definitely
hoping,
have
look,
you
I'm
back
here. I'm
on.
hoping Chipotle is open so I can actually bring some food home.
So yeah, let's check out the questions here. See if we have. Oh, you're going to check them out?
Oh, I was scrolling up. I saw something about, oh, here it is. How do you keep up with new trends and what happens to old inventory?
Right. You want to answer?
So for kids parties, my benchmark is the Philippines and my benchmark is Australia. Like those two markets for kids events are on like 1,000. Like they do over the top things. And whenever I see a product, I know, first of all, they're getting everything from China, just like, most wholesalers do. So I'll see something there and I'll try to source it on Alibaba. And that was part of my reason for going to China in October, was to make those connections with the factories to build custom things. Because a lot of times when you're talking to them on Alibaba, they're going to tell you straight up, no, I think it's called OEM, where they're doing custom pieces.
Right.
So it was going there and making those connections with the people at the Canton Fair to see who did custom things. So those are the two places that I look for trends. And old inventory. So first of all, I love wood. So whenever I can get a chair that's solid wood, I know I can retrofit it and spray it and do a whole lot of other stuff to it that I can't do with plastic or resin.
Right.
So I love to buy wood pieces, and the same thing with metal. Once it's set, you can't really do much with it. But if I have a wooden chair, I can paint it so many colors. So old inventory for me, I sell it. Like last year, I had a warehouse sale, and so after about 2 years, I just sell anything, and people will buy it.
Yeah, yeah. I do the same thing. Just to piggyback on what you just finished saying, what I do is I'll every so often I will bring in. I won't bring in everything because I see that the trends, especially in our field, the trends are every 3 months. They're switching something, which I can't stand. I really wish that they would at least do it a year and then bring in something else, because it's hard to keep up with the trends if you don't have the money for it. But just for me, I would look at something and say, okay, how long have I had this sitting on the shelf? And then I would say, okay, it's not doing anything. And we had spoken to Chris about this the other day. We had, if this is not renting out, then you need to get rid of it. And it was hard for me to get rid of some of the stuff because you become attached to some things, you know. But my husband would tell me, listen, this is sitting here for so long, get rid of it. And I would say to myself, well, I would say to him, nobody's gonna buy it, you know, nobody. But you'd be surprised that when you do posting some, and then I went, you know, I posted stuff on the Facebook Marketplace and things like that. And I don't know if that's the best place to do it because people really want dirty stuff, but I stick to my guns anyway because I know how much things are worth. And eventually I'll get hit up, okay, is this still available? And I'll sell it. And I'm like, oh, wow, I winded up selling something that I thought that it was 2 or 3 years back that we used. And people are just starting the business and they don't want to buy new stuff. And they would buy, you know, these pieces. And you'd be surprised. They would rent out those pieces more than I would. So it also depends on you.